Well, it's happening. Your Chiefs have a 53-man roster, and we know 58 of them or so far or something like that. Welcome in. It's RGR Football. We're going to give you live reaction here today. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you like and sub and hit the bell. Hit our sponsor, Autograph. They're always helping us, and it's free for you guys. You can get all the best content in Chiefs Kingdom all in one place on Autograph, including us and some of your favorites, including the mothership, because the franchise on this particular week, I think, is going to be pretty damn interesting. I'm ready for it. I hope that you guys are. Dan, a lot has happened since we were live last night. I want to start with the big ones. This was inevitable. There was no way around it. Kadarius Toney was not going to be on this roster. We've been talking about that for probably at least 2 weeks. What we did hear is that they were trying to move him in trade and just were not able.
Yeah.
Going back to what we thought, before camp started, that could he prove that he even had value? It didn't work out that way. Do you think they did everything they could?
Yeah, they did. They've done everything they could. The problem is when games are on the line, when you have actual real reps on tape to go back to and actual 2 teams that didn't want you on your team, that's what all the teams are going for. They're like, well, we don't really care what you do in the preseason. We don't think you are valuable enough to come in and trade for you because we don't think you're mentally involved, which is the big problem. He tweeted out an hour ago the gif of the Joker saying, "And here we go," after he got released. Like, you think people are going to come banging down your door to have you a part of their team? No, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to earn it, buddy. Which means you got to work for it.
Maybe that's the name of his newest song. I don't know, because that's about all he's going to have on his plate going forward. So, hey, good luck to you, Joka. We'll see you later. Brenda, Dove Freak, Cole, Robert, Laugh for Life. Nice to see you guys. Welcome in. Knicks fan, good to see you, buddy. I'm kind of glad to see it too. Now, the other thing that I think was inevitable with the Juju signing, we told you about that Ross was going to not make this initial 53. But I am convinced that they're happy with his progress. So I do think it all depends. If somebody grabs him on a waiver claim, there's nothing they can do about it, right? They had to make this move. But if not, I do expect that he will be back. I think that they saw enough. The Rush should come back, as will LRZ. They elected not to do the short-term IR. I don't think he showed enough, whereas I think Ross may have. What do you think?
Yeah, there was a big reason that he wasn't put on IR is because they don't believe he's ready. And they don't believe any team is going to come knocking on the door for him, which is understandable. He played rugby for most of his adult life. That's what he played. It's a very different football in this sense. So there's probably zero worry that they're going to be able to get him to the practice squad, because I do think that there's something there you can develop. At worst, again, with these new rules at kick return, you can develop him in the offseason, work to get him on the roster next year, depending on how it works. But I think that at the end of the day, he's just too raw of a player for anyone to say, hey, let's go ahead and grab him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it comes down. I think overall that's going to be fine. We'll see what comes of it in the long run. Matrix had a question here. Thoughts on cutting Irv Smith and then going after another tight end? Hendershot was a guy that I thought could replace Blake Bell when he came out. What's he had 2 seasons in Dallas, was it?
2 or 3, yeah. He's still pretty young out of Indiana, so.
Yeah. So I like that. Another Cam Jones, another Indiana player, made it. And do you have a take on Hendershot, or where he is or where he was?
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny because when he got released, I was like, yeah, I would absolutely cut Irv Smith and bring him in a heartbeat. And the Chiefs were like, hey, let's do that thing because that makes a lot more sense. Irv Smith doesn't offer anything. He didn't do anything in the preseason to earn a spot. And if you guys joined us last night when we talked about the tight ends, I'm like, I know they want 4. That's the only reason I had Smith on the roster. And it would not have shocked me if they cut him because he didn't deserve it. And now we see exactly why he got cut, is because they wanted to bring in a guy. And I understand that people are like, I don't like having to trade end of roster or end of draft picks for it. No one is playing the game. Okay. If you want talent, one, you can't get them from the waiver wire. You can't. There's nothing you can do. You are the last one. You don't get these waivers that you want. You have to go and trade a day 3 pick, a low day 3 pick to get somebody. And to be honest with you, Peyton Hendershot is going to outplay a 7th round pick for the most part, unless you're DB that just happens to be, Jalen Watson. It doesn't work out that way usually. So it makes sense, and you do what you can to fill out those positions that you want with some of the draft picks you might not need.
Yeah. A. Smith with the CB waivers, not concerned to this point. I haven't seen anything in writing about Kamal Haddon yet. I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
Keith Taylor would be competing there. One thing we do have confirmed from Matt Derrick, though, check out Matt. He's probably live on Chiefs Digest right now as well, and certainly on his site, Chiefs Digest. CRW, we were right. He made the roster. He's going to be there. I believe he's probably going to line up more apt at nickel than at safety, but they still list him as a safety. We'll see what happens when the official depth chart comes out. But well done, Dan. I think we both were pretty confident in that. And
yeah,
seems there's a lot of surprise out there for people who don't watch this channel that he's on the roster. So I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know, man. After that first preseason game, it was like, oh, okay, this guy can play, and he's exactly the kind of. I'm going back to the same thing that I put in my video. He plays the game the right way. That's all you need to know. If you can be physical, if you can have good change of direction, and you can play the game the right way in the pass and against the run, that's somebody that Spags is going to want, and Dave Merritt is going to want in their cornerback and safety room.
Yeah, appreciate it. If you guys would hit the button, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that you are liking this video. We would appreciate that very much. There's a lot to cover here, and I know you guys have questions. We're going to get to more of them in just a second. But if you want in the action, you want to help us out and help the folks that help us right here on Autograph. If I can play the right click, I want to tell you a little bit about our newest sponsor, Autograph. It's the greatest concept. It's a free app that curates all the best content for your Chiefs in one spot. And it lets you earn rewards for interacting with the content that you already want to watch. So check out Autograph. It's a free app download. You can get it at the link down below or use our code RGR when you do. And that helps us help you get the rewards that you deserve from Autograph. Help us help you do the thing with the stuff in the business that you were looking for in the first place. Always works out for us. Quick question on Worthy from Laugh for Life. The reason he's compared to Deshaun Jackson and not Marvin Harrison is because of the speed aspect. Marvin was an elite route runner. I would not call him an elite speed guy. He had good speed, maybe even very good speed, but not elite. This is the difference. Whereas D-Jack was a field stretcher first and learned to run routes, much like I feel Worthy has a lot of upside in his route running. He's solid now, but I think he's got upside to go. Do you disagree?
No, I think that we kind of both have talked about his upside as a route runner, and he's also smaller than Marvin Harrison was. And I know Marvin Harrison wasn't the biggest guy in the world, but he was a dunk artist in his own right. Great route runner, but he can go get the football. Like, that was something that you learned watching him. It wasn't like his specialty. And I think that we're going to see that a little bit from Xavier Worthy too. His ability to go get the football at times when he's asked to do so. I think he can do that because he's an excellent all-around athlete. So the reason is because of the play style. He's very similar in that regard. And there's room for him to be, like Ryan said, a much better route runner than Deshaun Jackson was. And that's where the excitement comes in, because you coming out, you want to comp his game to something that it reminds you of, right? That's why we're getting the Deshaun Jackson. Like, if he was already the level of route runner that Marvin Harrison was, we'd probably get more towards that, or some of the elite route runners in their day, that's something like that. But he's not an elite route runner. He's a good route runner with chops to be better.
Mm-hmm. I think the deceleration in particular and the ability to cut a little bit cleaner is going to be something that he will improve on in the next couple of seasons. I think that's going to be critical for him, because once he's got everybody scared to death of the deep ball, man, when he can decelerate a little bit better, it's going to be just sticky for everybody. And I am all the way here for it. Cody, we mentioned Hendershot a little bit. We'll have more on that in the coming days. And then Thomas, I appreciate that you brought that up, as did Knicks fans. So I want to get to you guys there. I'm going to take a look at Cam, because he had a decent rookie season. I didn't like the change for him in the defensive coordinator and the system that they ran last year. And obviously with the departure of JJ Watt, who had taken him under his wing and kind of started to show in the processes, it left him, I think, struggling a little bit. I still believe in Cam Thomas. You guys know how big I was on him pre-draft. He's a Spags guy. He's a more explosive George Karlaftis. His handwork isn't as good, at least not that I've seen the last year. So I'm going to go back and take a look at his rookie season. But I think Cam is a guy that can rotate in right now. He's played snaps for the Cardinals. He's played very well this preseason, actually. So their plan to kind of showcase him and get him out the door actually worked out. Just watched him against the Broncos the other day, and he's got the physicality that Spags wants. And I think he's a little bit more refined, a little further down the road than FAU is. So he's going to jump right into the rotation as far as I can tell. Do you disagree with any of that, Dan?
I don't disagree with any of it. I think what we're going to see his most valuable aspect is going to be on pass rush downs where he can reduce inside. You can keep George Karlaftis on the field. You keep Chris Jones in there, especially without Charles Omenihu on the field right now. I like Mike Dana. He can't stand up against the run when he's reduced inside. Cam Thomas has a much better chance of being able to stand up against the guards because he's more powerful at the point of attack. I think his anchor is better than Mike Dana's is. And I'm not trying to disparage my guy. Mike Dana's my dude.
Yeah.
You guys, I've vouched for Mike Dana since he was drafted. Like, he has been my guy. But if you go back 2 years to the Bengals game in the regular season where they played a lot of him in the interior, he got blown up by a not very good offensive line from the Bengals. Like, so you have to be able to hold up better in there. I think he offers that a little bit as well. So I know people are saying that means the time's up for FAU. The clock for me is when Omenihu comes back. That's what your time right now is, to show what you have, because there's still 2 years left on Cam Thomas's contract. So guess what?
Yep.
If you're not doing anything and Cam Thomas is showing flashes and you get Omenihu back for the next 2 years, you got Mike Dana, you've got George Karlaftis. Bye, buddy. You're done. That's what this is. You have the next 10 games probably that they're probably waiting for it. You got to show something. This is what it is.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It should be a good fire underneath him right now.
Yeah.
That's great. Mark, thank you. You guys moved up to my
Mark.
go-to Chiefs pod this year. Good job. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate you, and welcome aboard. It's going to be a fun ride. The 3P ride's just getting started, buddy. Tracy, glad to see you. Thanks for joining the show. I'm glad that you're here. Caroline, y'all are killing it. Steele and CRW now. Cam, you deserve 100,000 subs. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
We're going to keep working towards that. If you're not one of our subs now, you can just click a button and you are. So that's how easy that
we've been running pretty hot this week, not gonna lie.
Yeah, hey, let's get after it. Darnell, nice to see you, buddy. Yeah, looking forward to a three-peat. Let's make sure that they keep making every single move. And that's why trading away a 7th round pick isn't a big deal. That's why getting rid of day 3 low picks shouldn't hurt, because it's all in for this push. Even if you only get a little bit of impact from these guys that are, Henderson's going to play special teams. He's going to block for you. He'll catch a few passes, but it's not going to be, he's not going to supplant Noah Gray or anything like that. That's all right. But you're getting the floor that much higher so that you have that chance at that three-peat. I love this question because this is right up Brett Veach's alley. I was not huge on him coming out. I don't know how you felt about Farley initially, Dan, but this is always something. Hey, babe. This is always something that Brett Veach will take on, because that's kind of his shtick. If you can't make a first rounder work, maybe we can. Dave Merritt, here you go. Here's a present.
My thing about Farley is that he's always injured. So I don't know if they're going to take a chance on this former first round draft pick. I think it's more CJ Henderson that was out of Florida that got let go today. And he kind of fits their mold. A physical, long boundary guy that can maybe funnel to the safety. That's someone that I don't think he's, granted, it's a second team, so maybe he does fall through the cracks in the waiver order, but that's the corner that I'm watching for in case you see someone have to go to injured reserve or something like that because of these injuries. It's definitely scary with the injuries they got right now.
Agreed. And there's another DB. Lewis Sign just got cut this afternoon. He'll have to be a waiver claim. I don't think the Chiefs are going to get a shout at him. If the league's paying attention, somebody picks him up. I don't think that's going to happen. But he and Farley are kind of in the same boat. Andrew, get him in the lab with Tom. But yeah, absolutely. Got to work that hand usage. Got to improve that. And I think that will come. And I only teasingly mentioned in my tweet last night, JJ, because JJ was talking about coming out of retirement. He was working with Cam back in the day. Like, JJ, come on over. Like, I'll give up a hamburger for your salary. It's perfect. No problem, dude. Andrew, I'm glad you mentioned it. Dave, thank you, buddy. Thanks for being one of our members and always being here. We appreciate you, dude. And then Major, is everyone here on RJ all sad because Justin Ross got cut? I mean, not sad, but I do recognize the progress he's made, and I hope he gets back to the practice squad.
Yeah, that's what we want. We want him to be on the practice squad because when you have shown legitimate improvement from year one, because his first year was not a real year, to year two, that's something you want to try to improve upon. And I think that the fact that he's already gotten to that point is you just want a little bit more. Trust,
Yeah.
guys. Trust is the thing. If you can't be trusted to be in the right spot or to line up correctly, they do not trust you to make the roster, especially if you do not provide any special teams at anything. Doesn't play any special teams. You got to be in the right
At
spot.
any I like that. 0 at anything. That's what you are, buddy. Dub Freak and Caroline brought this up. Any news on potential running back pickups? I worry about CEH mentally. Fair. And Caroline said, "Are you surprised they haven't picked up a running back yet?" And not terribly, because I don't think they'll overpay for the position. Clearly, letting Prince go, as Dad foresaw, tells you where it is, right? But like Bart Scott looks like he's signing. I think it was it Philly or was it the Rams somewhere? There's going to be some other cuts. The running back spot is a place that I think you can, even at 32, you might be able to make a waiver claim work on somebody that you think might be able to adjust. But as I'm looking down the cuts list, like nothing's screaming out at me that they have to go get this running back. I like Evan Hull. He's out there now. I think, was he with the Colts? Yeah, I think he was with the Colts.
Yeah.
So, he's got something akin to this system. Spiller was the surprise for me out of Los Angeles, out of Texas A&M. I liked him coming out. He might be somebody I'd take a look at, but he had some injuries that may have diminished him. Any running back standing out to you, Dan?
I was a big fan of Michael Carter coming out of UNC, who was with the Jets. I liked him. I liked Isaiah Spiller too, but his NFL career has been awful, been legitimately terrible. He's not been good at all, so probably not there. There was no trade, as we understand it right now, about Samaje Perine. So chances are, if he's cut, he is a vested veteran. You might be able to sign him and bring him into Kansas City for a third down option. But at the end of the day, you're trying to find a third down back that gives you something in pass protection just in case. Because I love the effort from Steele. I think Pacheco's done a fantastic job of getting better and the effort's there. But you still worry a little bit about that. So that's all I'm really looking for is some of these guys that get cut that have pass protection upside.
Gotcha. Chris Rodriguez got cut this afternoon. The other Perine, our guy LaMichael, got cut this afternoon. If anything's a super easy pickup, it's probably somebody that's been in the room before, so watch for that one. Yeah. I'm just running down the list here. Spencer Brown, no thanks. I'm sure he's going to get selected, but Frank Gore Jr. got cut today. The Bills are taking a risk, in my opinion. I thought he ran pretty well this preseason. I would put in a claim for him if I'm Kansas City. Just
You're not going to get him,
nothing else.
But you have to. Yeah, honestly,
right. You got it, right?
Not only was he an undrafted player, now he's been sparsed at twice. I want somebody. That's not the right word, but you guys know what I'm getting at. Like, he's been disrespected in his eyes multiple times now. You think somebody with Frank Gore's lineage is going to handle being disrespected the right way? Absolutely. He's going to, and he's going to play hard. He was fantastic in the preseason. So yes, hopefully nobody else puts a claim on him, but we know it's going to happen.
Yeah, it should. Donta Foreman, no thanks. Robinson, Sailors, Pete Snoop Connor. I don't know. Malik Davis, Royce Freeman. I mean, what we're talking about now is probably an acquisition to the practice squad. So, if they choose to take a gamble on some of the guys, no problem. Not a big deal for me. Tyler Batty did get cut. So I know some folks are going to want him there.
Yeah.
My guy, Mike Burton, a true fullback, is now available. I am just going to say this once. Let's get a sixth offensive lineman, put Mike in the backfield in front of our guy Steele, and good God, it's either deep ball or crush your face. Like, I'll take that all day long.
Give me the play action just for the vibes. Honestly, Mike Burton would lead for Carson Steele. Okay. Get Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown or / McCole Harbin out there. pick your poison
Ding, ding,
defense.
ding. Yeah. Blow that box. See what happens, bro. I am so here for that. That would be, that I just got a little tingle. It's perfect. Okay, back to your questions, you guys. I'm still in the middle of my work day, so if you all want to ask some questions, throw them out there, and we'll try to get to it here. And Dirty, you already called me there, buddy. I know you got it. And Darnell, I didn't realize you were in Denver too. We got to do a Denver meetup for Chiefs fans. We were going to figure that out. Yeah, Dave, we covered that. Okay, Sky. I haven't seen the full list yet, Doctor Who. Of course, they'll put that out as soon as I say that out loud, because they always.
The Chiefs don't care about us, guys. They just don't care.
No. Matrix. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are considering, like, how nuts is he? Could we take that chance? And I'm sure somebody may. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. It may be a couple weeks, but Chris, I do believe LRZ will make it to the practice squad. I don't think he showed enough to get picked up. I think that's why they were comfortable doing it, because I do think they want him around. Let's see. We covered CEH. He's just a giant question at this point. So, you know, it's going to be what it is. Guys that I'm really intrigued by that I still haven't seen, or actually, let me ask you, because you've probably been more up to date than I have this afternoon. Guys that are still, that we haven't seen a definite cut on yet, that are still on the roster that you're intrigued by.
Cornell Powell has not been cut. I know McCole Hardman is supposed to be on it, but the fact that Cornell has not been cut yet, there's an outside chance he's gonna make it. Again, a very small chance, guys, but don't just douse me in false hope and dreams and things like that. I'm trying here to be positive about my guy, because that's what I like. Also, we talked about Kamal Hadden. Interesting that we haven't heard anything about that. But I think for the most part, everyone that I have with the offensive line, I don't think we've seen, like, Godric hasn't been cut yet, to my knowledge.
Right.
I don't remember.
Nope, I didn't see it either.
Yeah, the Chiefs have like 65 still-ish players like on their roster that we just don't know about. It's so infuriating what they do with this. When other teams are all on the money, they just do not care. So I'm pretty confident in the corners, but again, with the injuries, who knows what happens there. By my count, there's going to be an extra spot on this roster that I didn't account for because of, what was it? There was a position that probably the wide receivers and the tight ends, I think we're going to see something different. But I can't remember exactly why, but I think that there's a possibility they keep 6 DBs or 6 corners and 5 safeties because of the injury stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you. Bills cut La'el Collins and Kareem Jackson. I don't think Collins has a lot left, but I don't think you need Jackson, so I don't see much there. Who else was on their cut list? Frank Gore Jr., we talked about him. KJ Hamler got cut from the Bills as well, because they do have again a lot of slots, kind of like the Chiefs do. I don't see anybody else on there that's an immediate, like, hey, they should go try to acquire that dude. Just looking at other updates, not a ton here. So we will get eventually the actual 53. I want to know the CBs. Got to know what the final wide receiver spot is. Do they make a running back acquisition? That is on the table as well. They did move on. That's my alarm to check the 53 man goes off.
It's a beautiful, beautiful little.
Let me just bring that over here. Thank you, Google. You dirty rotten. I lost my train of thought too. I was right on. Oh, they moved on from Chris Aluticon, who I do think could come back, except for the fact that my guy Zappy is out there, and I think that's legitimate. You are so gonna lose it if they were to bring him in. I'm gonna chuckle my. Yes,
they won't. They're not keeping 3 quarterbacks on the roster, and Carson Wentz is better.
No, I don't mean on the roster. I mean in the practice squad.
Whatever.
Yeah,
practice squad is practice.
No,
squad.
I mean I'm silly about Zappy. I'm not stupid. Let's be real. Okay, last Adrian Martinez got let go. Not concerned about him. Although if you want somebody to come in and be a mobile quarterback for your scout team as a practice squad player, and if you weren't going to get Lou to come back, I do think Adrian Martinez could do the job for you.
Yeah, that's fair.
What else?
I
There was another
don't
trade.
understand any of this. Like, it's an hour and a half, guys. Chiefs, what are we doing? Hour and a half.
Right.
Hour and a half. My guy Taylor Kyles has the entire 53-man roster breakdown on the Patriots right now. The entire breakdown with injury stuff, like descriptions. He's had time to put it together. What are we doing?
Yep. Not caring about us, that's for sure. Caroline, did KJ Henry get cut? Because if he did, I would definitely try to get him to the practice squad. He was my sleeper from that draft class when everybody was looking at his teammates, because I do feel like he has upside to grow. Like, I would put him on the practice squad today, like right now, if I could.
Yeah, for sure.
Good speed, good size, length. Needed to work in my instant memory. Needed to work on counters, inside moves, and maybe a little hand work. But I think he's a developmental player that I'd love to have on the practice squad right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little honest with people about developing defensive ends. Okay, it's a two-way street. Okay, George Kalatas has gotten better, but no other defensive end that the Chiefs have drafted outside of maybe Mike Dana, who was already a pretty good player, has developed yet. Okay, so that's just, I don't think Cam Thomas is coming in and going to turn into a great player. He's a depth player. That's my opinion. We've seen an offseason of FAU working, and the biggest thing about his game, the problem, is his hand speed. He's been working with Tamba all offseason, and his hand speed's still crap. Okay?
Yeah.
So we have to take a grain of salt. Oh, we can just bring these guys in and develop them. They haven't been as good at developing defensive ends as they have with corners. I'm not trying to put blame on anybody because I don't know what goes on, but sometimes you can develop talent, identify talent, draft them, and they don't develop. It happens a lot. So I'm just kind of harping on this, going back to the FAU point, because of the crowded defensive end room. He has back until Charles Omenihu comes back to show anything, to show us something, to show the team something. Otherwise, I do not believe he's going to be doing much. And someone like KJ Henry and the practice squad, again, makes sense. These kind of developmental prospects, pluck, see if you just bring a bunch of them in, see what you can do.
Yep. See what sticks. Yeah. I disagree a little bit about Cam, because I think he's been hurt by coaching the last 2 seasons. But I do think that he has more upside than he's shown. I think with Culley, I think he might be able to ascend. Certainly comes in as a rotational player. I'm not trying to say he's a starter or anything, or he should supplant anybody who's there now. But otherwise, I completely agree with you. As many stabs as you can take at pass rusher, give them all a shot and see what you can make stick. Nick, thank you, buddy. Just bored waiting for the roster for both of you. What is the best and worst scouting report you've ever had, whether people believed you or not?
I mean, honestly, that's a hard one.
I put out my L'Jarius Sneed take on the national forum when I was running Locked On NFL Draft, and I got a lot of people just making stupid fun of me about that. I was just out in left field, and you've seen what's happened there. I would say that was my best find. Probably my worst was Matt Corral. Like, I actually thought that he would be able in a move and an RPO type offense to be able to adapt to the NFL and show something, and that the guy's worthless. He's off the deep end. Mm-hmm. So, and I think those were the same year. So that tells you something.
Yeah. I think my best is probably Amon-Ra St. Brown. He and Devontae Smith, honestly. I mean, granted, Devontae went in the first round, but Amon-Ra St. Brown was one of my favorite receivers in that draft. I know I didn't have a hugely high grade on him, and that's not necessarily his fault. It's because of the way that USC used him. But I would have drafted him like in the second round. And I have tweets. I have things to show you that I would have done it. And you see the player that he is. So I think that's probably one of my best. I mean, worst it's the same. You guys, and it's the same one. It's Hakeem Butler. I was taken with Hakeem Butler. I thought he was going to be the next X receiver. You can put him and Denzel Mims in the same bucket. I was very high on both of those players. I've learned, granted they're a little bit different with speed, but I have learned not just fall in love with the big, fast or big bodied receiver. Times have changed. You got to be able to get open in the NFL, and if you can't get open, it's not going to matter how big and strong your hands are.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the evolution of the game, right? It'll likely swing back. Like all of a sudden, we're seeing more teams want to run hard, right, and want to use a fullback again. Like that wasn't this way 4 years ago. Like it's the pendulum just going to swing as you adapt.
But hit me back in like 2 or 3 years when Spencer Rattler is balling in New Orleans, because I'll take that one too.
Okay. I'll take that one. I'll give you $1 bet there. I will say this though, for all of you that were pretty excited about some of these guys, including Breland Speaks, I think what this shows you is that the elite at the UFL level are not necessarily roster eligible players in the NFL. Yeah. There is still a very big difference. So take that with a grain of salt. When next spring comes around, your board, you're watching UFL. Hakeem Butler was cut. Speaks was cut. The kid who was the quarterback got cut today. Like there's just the elite of that league just aren't up to par.
Yeah.
Do we still have McKinnon? No, Dirty. He is not on the roster. They could. I don't know if they're waiting for that. We have speculated on that for pretty much all of camp. Like, could that still be in the offing? We just don't know about his health.
Yeah.
So I wish I had an answer for you. Blackbird, any thoughts on the NFLPA voting, vetoing the emergency third quarterback not needing to be elevated? To think that this could affect some teams' roster construction. It definitely will affect some teams' decision making, but I can't say I'm surprised. I don't know why they choose to do that. I think it's silly.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, right. I mean, my daughter's out here singing over to Sesame Street, and we're just trying to figure out why teams would go back against this, or why it would go. The NFLPA would go back against this. This is important. Like, you want to have more players on the roster, right? That's NFLPA should be pushing to have more players on the roster. But why are you going backwards with this? It makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. Ozzy, I love what you're saying here. I would like to see Bean back in town. And again, he could run your practice squad for you. Sure did he? Okay, I have not checked all of their cuts yet. Let me do that real quick, and then we are going to sign off and wait for the actual announcement. I think so. Someday the Chiefs will get around to that. No, he was cut this afternoon.
Okay, I didn't see anything. I thought I saw people reacting to him making it, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Take him over Bailey Zappi.
Oh, so angry. Hunter Renfrow, maybe. I think there's something going on there physically that maybe teams are shying away from. Felix will make the roster. Absolutely. Pretty bummed out about Nico. I think he'll make the practice squad, and he can continue. Remember, I'm still treating this as his rookie year. I think he's going to be all right there. And then, Bean was just cut. Okay. So that's it for us for now. We are up to date. If we hear and see something, we'll try to jump back in here for you later. If not, look for tomorrow. Dan's going to have something kind of cool for you. I'm looking forward to it. So you want to tease that, or should we just leave it a mystery?
Oh, we'll just leave it a mystery. It's going to be quick and short because I have little time to get it prepared. Thanks, Kansas City. That should be enough of a teaser for you guys.
Well, if you want to get all of our content together in one place, go grab Autograph. It's free download. You can use our code RGR and they'll give us credit for it. Yeah, absolutely. The more you watch, listen, and read on there, you build up points, and you can get like discounted tickets, memorabilia, the whole 9 yards. There's a whole lot going on there. So thanks for being with us. Enjoy cut downs. And when we hear something great, we'll be back with you to let you know. Have a good one, and we'll catch you later.